And she's this year's fourth seed. Would you please welcome from the Philippines, it's Eala.
Billion-dollar rejection. Alex Eala turns down Saudi fortune in 20 seconds to chase glory. Welcome back to Champions Tennisistics, the heartbeat of the tennis world. Before we drop the biggest bombshell in the history of women's sports, I need to take a massive second to say thank you. We just hit 3,000 subscribers. That is 3,000 of you who live and breathe every serve, every volley, and every drop shot with us. If you're new here, you picked the absolute wildest day to join the family because what I'm about to tell you is going to change how you look at tennis forever. We have news that is shaking the foundations of the WTA. We are talking about money that makes football contracts look like pocket change. We are talking about a 20-year-old girl from the Philippines standing in front of a literal mountain of gold and saying no. Alex Eala, the pride of Manila, the girl who learned tennis on public courts while dodging rain and traffic noise, just walked away from the most insane offer in sports history. And the reason why is going to restore your faith in what athletes can be. Picture this, a private meeting room in Dubai. Velvet walls, gold leaf ceilings. The air conditioning set to a crisp chill that screams expensive. Sitting on one side is a Saudi billionaire, a man who buys football clubs for fun and builds islands because he's bored. On the other side is Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines, fresh off a plane, racket bag still on her shoulder. The meeting was supposed to be a sponsorship discussion. That's what her team was told. But the moment those doors closed, it became something completely different. According to leaks that are absolutely flooding the tennis underground right now, this wasn't just a sponsorship meeting. This was a hostile takeover of talent. The billionaire reportedly dropped to his knees. Yes, literally to his knees, and pleaded with Eala to become the face, the queen, of a breakaway tennis league. Think of it like what happened with golf and LIV Golf, but cranked up to 11. They wanted to build an entire tennis empire around her, a 20-year-old who hasn't even won a Grand Slam yet. That's how much they believed in her star power. The offer? Hold on to your seats. $1 billion up front, plus $600 million a year for 10 years. Let that sink in. That is generational wealth. That is by a small country wealth. But it didn't stop there. The leaked contract details included her own private Alexandra Desert Tennis Arena, a sprawling complex built specifically for her training, complete with indoor courts that replicate every surface, grass, clay, and hard court. A private jet with gold-plated interiors to shuttle her family around the world. And the centerpiece, the Arabian Diamond Tennis Championship, an annual event where she would be the permanent headliner, fighting for a prize pool of $150 million. They even offered to build a tennis academy in the Philippines under her name, fully funded, to train the next generation. It was designed to be impossible to refuse. The condition? She had to leave the WTA. No more Wimbledon tradition. No more fighting through qualifiers in the rain. No more Roland Garros clay battles. No more Australian Open sunrises. Just luxury, exhibitions, and being the puppet queen of a new desert dynasty. She would play against other defectors, against legends coaxed out of retirement, in stadiums built from oil money where every seat costs $1,000 and the champagne flows like water. The room went silent. The billionaire waited for the yes. He expected the yes. Who says no to $6 billion? Alexandra Eala did. Witnesses say it took her exactly 20 seconds. She didn't look at the check. She didn't look at the concept art for the gold jet. She looked him in the eye, stood up, and delivered a monologue that is already becoming legend. She reportedly said, "My legacy isn't for sale. I don't play for diamonds. I play for history. I play for the little girl in Quezon City who picks up a racket and dreams of winning a Grand Slam, not a bank transfer." She told him that her dream wasn't built in boardrooms, but on the courts of Wimbledon, on the clay of Paris, on the blue hard courts of Melbourne. She told him that Filipino athletes have always had to fight harder, travel further, and prove more than anyone else, and that taking the easy road would betray every single person who believed in her. She walked out. She left $6 billion on a mahogany table and went back to her hotel to pack for a flight to New Zealand. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the tennis world is in tears today. In an era where athletes are chasing the biggest paycheck, where loyalty is measured in zeros on a contract, where players jump leagues for fractions of what Eala was offered, she chose the grind. She chose the glory. She chose the legacy. And guess what? She is proving right now that she made the right choice. Because while the billionaires are crying in their palaces, Eala is conquering the real world. Let's talk about what happened immediately after that rejection. Eala flew to Auckland for the ASB Classic, and she played like a woman possessed. She wasn't playing for money. She was playing with the fire of someone who knows exactly who she is. The tennis she produced in New Zealand was breathtaking. Every forehand was a statement. Every service game was a declaration. She was telling the world that she didn't need their billions because she was already rich in something they could never buy: pure, undiluted talent. She smashed her way into the semifinals. She took down Poland's Magda Linette in the quarterfinals in straight sets, a masterclass in aggressive baseline tennis. Linette, ranked in the top 40 and a player who has taken sets off the best in the world, had no answers. Eala was hitting lines, painting corners, mixing pace and spin like a maestro conducting a symphony. Then she faced Donna Vekic, a Wimbledon semifinalist and Olympic silver medalist, a woman who has shared the court with legends and never blinks under pressure. Eala sent her packing. The match was electric. Vekic threw everything at her: power, placement, experience, but Eala absorbed it all and fired it back with interest. When the final point landed, when Eala raised her arms in victory, it wasn't just a win. It was a prophecy fulfilled. Although her run was eventually halted by China's Wang Xinyu in the semis, the damage was done. The statement was made. Wang is a top 50 player herself, someone who has been knocking on the door of the elite for months. And even though Eala fell short, she pushed her to the limit. More importantly, she proved that she belongs in that conversation. The latest WTA rankings have dropped, and it is official. For the first time in her career, Alexandra Eala is a top 50 player. She has risen to world number 49. This isn't a gift. This isn't a wild card. This is earned. Every point, every drop of sweat, every sleepless night on the tour, every cheap hotel room, every injury she played through, it all led to this moment. She climbed past the barrier that has held back so many hopefuls. The top 50 is where the tour gets real. It's where you start getting direct entry into Grand Slams. It's where sponsors start calling. It's where respect is no longer given. It's assumed. And Eala is now living in that space. She is now the highest-ranked Filipino player in history, venturing into waters uncharted by her countrymen. The Philippines has produced great athletes, boxers who become senators, basketball players who are worshipped like gods, but tennis has always been the sport of the privileged, the inaccessible. Eala is changing that. She is proof that a girl from a middle-class family, training on public courts, can stand toe-to-toe with the daughters of Russian oligarchs and American tennis dynasties. The result in Auckland didn't just give her ranking points. It gave her validation. It proved that you don't need a golden parachute when you have wings of your own. But the story doesn't end in Auckland. The Australian Open is looming like a storm on the horizon, and Eala is making her final preparations in the most prestigious way possible. She has touched down in Melbourne for the ASB Classic. Now, for those of you who don't know, ASB isn't just a warm-up. It's a spiritual home of Australian tennis. This is where the Australian Open was held before it moved to Melbourne Park. This is hallowed ground. It's an invitational. You don't just sign up, you get invited because you matter. The fact that Eala received an invitation speaks volumes about how the tennis world now sees her. And look at who she is standing shoulder to shoulder with. She is one of only 4 women invited to this exclusive event starting Tuesday, January 14th. She's sharing the court with Donna Vekic again. Expect sparks to fly there, as Vekic will surely want revenge for Auckland. The rematch is going to be must-watch tennis. Vekic is a proud competitor, someone who doesn't take losses lightly, and she'll be coming for blood. But Eala has already beaten her once, and confidence is a hell of a drug. She's up against Australia's own Priscilla Hahn, who will have the home crowd screaming. Hahn is a gritty player, someone who fights for every point, and playing in front of her home fans at a venue as iconic as Kooyong will give her an emotional boost. This is going to test Eala's mental toughness, her ability to handle hostile crowds and partisan atmospheres. And in a twist of nostalgia that only tennis can provide, she will be facing Daniela Hanachova. Yes, the Slovakian legend. The 42-year-old former tour player and mixed doubles Grand Slam champion is dusting off her racket to test the new generation. Think about the symbolism here. You have the veteran who has seen it all, who played against the Williams sisters in their prime, who knows every trick and every angle. And you have Eala, the 20-year-old prodigy who just said no to $1 billion, standing on the same grass. It is the past meeting the future. Hantachova will bring wisdom and guile. Eala will bring hunger and fire. This exhibition at the Kuyong Lawn Tennis Club from the 14th to the 16th is the final sharpener. It is where Eala fine-tunes the weapons she will take into the Australian Open main draw on Sunday, January 12th. The Australian Open is where dreams are made or shattered. It's the first Grand Slam of the year, the Happy Slam, played under the blazing Australian summer sun where temperatures can hit 40 degrees Celsius and the court surface feels like hot coals. It's brutal. It's unforgiving. And it's where Eala has a legitimate chance to make a deep run. At world number 49, she'll be seeded, which means she avoids the absolute killers in the first round. She'll have a path, a realistic path, to the third or fourth round. And if she gets hot, if the draw opens up, who knows? We've seen it before. We've seen teenagers and 20-year-olds catch fire and ride the wave all the way to the semis. The world is watching. The pressure has never been higher. But if we learned anything from that meeting room in Dubai, it's that pressure doesn't crack Alexandra Eala. It makes her stronger. She turned down the easy road, the golden road, to walk the hard, dusty path to greatness. And right now, sitting at world number 49, with the Australian Open in her sights, with the entire Philippines behind her, with every little girl who has ever picked up a racket watching her, she looks unstoppable. Let's talk about what this means for the bigger picture, because this isn't just about one player. This is about the soul of tennis. The sport is at a crossroads. On one side, you have the traditionalists, the people who believe in the majesty of Wimbledon's grass, the romance of Roland Garros, the electric energy of the US Open. On the other side, you have the money men, the disruptors, the people who want to take the best players and lock them behind paywalls, turn tennis into a series of exhibitions for the ultra-rich. We've already seen it with golf. LIV Golf came in with Saudi money and ripped the PGA Tour apart. Players who swore they'd never leave took the checks and ran. Legends sold their legacies for generational wealth. And now the same forces are circling tennis. But here's the thing. Tennis is different. Tennis has a soul. Tennis has a history that dates back over a century. The Grand Slams aren't just tournaments. They're institutions. Wimbledon is British royalty and strawberries and cream. The French Open is Parisian elegance and red clay poetry. The US Open is New York grit and late-night madness. The Australian Open is sun-soaked joy and the party atmosphere of Melbourne. You can't replicate that. You can't buy that. And Alex Eala understands that. She understands that winning Wimbledon means more than any check ever could. She understands that having her name engraved on the trophy at Roland Garros is immortality, while being the queen of some desert exhibition is just a footnote. And she's not alone. There are whispers that other top players have been approached with similar offers. Some have said yes. Some are considering it. But Eala's rejection is sending shockwaves through the locker room. She's become a symbol. She's become the player who stood up and said no. And that's inspiring others to do the same. The WTA is rallying behind her. Tournament organizers are praising her. Fans are painting her as a hero. And she's not even 21 years old yet. Think about what she's already accomplished. She's won junior Grand Slams. She's dominated the ITF circuit. She's climbed the WTA rankings faster than almost anyone expected. She's represented the Philippines with pride and passion. And now she's turned down the biggest offer in sports history because she believes in something bigger than herself. That's the kind of story that transcends tennis. That's the kind of story that makes global headlines. That's the kind of story that little girls will tell their daughters about. So, I have to ask you, would you have taken the money? Would you have taken the $1 billion and the gold jet? Would you have said yes to financial security for your entire family, for your children's children, for generations to come? Or would you have done what Alex did? Would you have looked at that check and said, my dream is bigger than this? Let me know in the comments below because this debate is going to tear the internet apart. Here's what I think. I think most people would have taken the money. And I'm not judging them for it. $1 billion is life-changing. It's world-changing. It's the kind of money that solves every problem you've ever had and every problem you'll ever have. But Eala isn't most people. She's special. She's wired differently. She has a fire inside her that money can't extinguish. She has a dream that mansions and yachts can't fulfill. She wants to be the best. Not the richest. Not the most famous. The best. And the only way to be the best is to beat the best on the biggest stages when the lights are brightest. And here's the beautiful irony. By saying no to the money, she's probably going to make more money in the long run. Think about it. If she goes on to win a Grand Slam, if she becomes a top 10 player, the endorsement deals will dwarf that Saudi offer. Nike, Adidas, Rolex, Mercedes, every major brand in the world will be lining up to sign her. Not just because she's talented, but because she's proven that she has integrity. She's proven that she can't be bought. And in a world where everything feels transactional, where loyalty is a joke, that's invaluable. That's the kind of brand that transcends sports. If you love tennis, if you love passion, and if you believe that some things are worth more than money, smash that like button. Share this video with every tennis fan you know because the world needs to hear this story. Post it on your Instagram, tweet it, send it to your group chats, because this is the story that defines our generation of tennis. This is the story that proves athletes can still be heroes. And don't forget to subscribe to Champions Tennisics. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers, and we are bringing you the news that no one else dares to touch. We don't just report tennis. We live it. We breathe it. We bleed it. I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you for the Australian Open coverage. Because when Eala steps onto that blue court in Melbourne, when she walks out in front of 15,000 screaming fans, when she takes her position on the baseline, she won't just be playing for herself. She'll be playing for every kid who ever had a dream. She'll be playing for every person who ever chose the hard road over the easy one. She'll be playing for all of us who still believe that glory matters more than gold. Game, set, match.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta